What's going on, guys? Winter here, bringing you another Destiny 2 video. Today's video is going to be talking about a very hot topic that has been raging in the community since Destiny 1, and that's going to be reskins, reissues, and refreshes on old weapons. So what we're going to be talking about today is, of course, the Season of the Deep weapon pool. We have reissues in the form of the Reckoning weapons, reskins in the form of the seasonal weapons, which are just the exact same skin with a taken paint coat, and then, of course, the refresh on the Last Wish perks. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. A hot take from me here. I've never cared in the slightest bit about Bungie reusing assets to save time. I do not give a shit. As long as the new revamped weapon that's coming back is a good weapon, I don't care. I genuinely don't. Because if they made 50 unique gun models every season and they all sucked ass equally, I wouldn't use them. So it wouldn't matter to me. But if they reissue a weapon that I used to like with better perks, then I'm going to be very invested in getting that god roll. That's me personally. I know that a lot of other people are very invested in getting new. But for me, I'm totally fine with my old favorites if it means that they're coming back even stronger than they are in their present form. We had a good balance this season of completely useless and underwhelming to amazing and absolutely worth the grind time. Starting with the reissues of the season, we have the Reckoning weapons, and from the bottom of my heart, I do not know what went wrong here, Bungie. You have some really good weapons on deck, and you bring them back in a form where they are not even close to competing with any of the weapons that are directly their competitor. So, for example, spare rations, of course, has been said to death. Unless you are in love with the feel of the gun, which I know some people are, this thing cannot compete statistically with things like the Rose, Austringer, Ice Luna, or Fatebringer. Like, it literally can't stand on its own. And this used to be the best hand cannon in the game. The gun that if you loaded into a Crucible match, 4 out of 6 of the players on each team would be using it. And they brought it back, and I'm not saying it has to be the best weapon in the game. None of these weapons needed to be. But they don't even have a unique role that makes them stand on their own. Like, even just to experiment with new perks, we saw the introduction of Edie Current this season, but, like, hypothetically, let's say if on Bug Out Bag they had a new perk, third column perk, it was called Burning Hands or something, and scorching targets refunded ammo back into the magazine, and if you were Radiant, this effect was increased or something. And it was the only solar weapon in the game right now with Burning Hands plus Incandescent. That would at least make it interesting, even if it was not able to outdo a perfectly crafted Callus mini tool or a God Roll No Survivor from the dungeon. Like, just having an interesting role that was unique to this weapon would at the very least make it a chase. Which is just sad. It's really sad. There are plenty of weapons you could have brought back that would have been able to have really good perk combos, unique perk combos at the very least, to make them interesting. But here, it just feels like a missed opportunity. So then you get a second chance with the reskins. So obviously, the Season of the Deep weapons are reskinned versions of the Reckoning weapons. They're the same gun model with the taken skin, and they look awesome. They look incredible. The art team did a great job on these. But again, the perks here are and in this case, they even changed the RPM, the element, like they really went ham here in making these weapons have the same look and feel, but play differently thanks to RPM and element changes. And yet again, there's nothing really here that's like super chaseable. They're fine, they're serviceable weapons, they'll get you through content, but there's nothing here that's screaming at me like, okay, we have some of the juice here. And then meanwhile, with the revamp perks on the Last Wish weapons, they clearly know what they're doing, which is the weirdest part, because every single one of those Last Wish weapons is worth your time to get. Every single one is worth your time to get the pattern and probably craft it. Some of them, obviously, are going to have more of an appeal than others, depending on your playstyle and what you like to do in the game, but every single one is good. And it just begs the question, it's like, what happened with these reissues? Like, we even saw it last season where Hung Jury got its perk pool revamped, and it's one of my favorite weapons now. It's so good. And I know the first argument that's going to be leveled against me is, of course, well, the Last Wish weapons, those are raid weapons, Felwinter. Of course they're going to be superior to the seasonal weapons and reissued weapons. I get that. I actually agree with you that the end game should reward us with the best weapons in the game. I fully understand that. But that means if we use that logic, that weapons awarded through seasonal content and through the seasonal grind, therefore, are just not going to be good. Like, that doesn't make sense to me either. Like, maybe they're not best in slot, but they have to at least be competitive. They got to at least be interesting, bring something unique to the table that we can look at and be like, okay, well, this is something worth going for. As it stands right now, I just feel like we have 12 dud weapons. That there's just not really that much. Like, maybe you just need some strand stuff. Obviously, the Season of the Deep weapons have some strand utility, so if you want more strand weapons in your kit, you need to go grab those. But I mean, outside of that, I just don't see much here, which is really unfortunate. I'm really sorry that this is such a downtrodden video. I actually want to do another follow-up to this one where I go over the 6 weapons that I would have loved to see come back, but I'll get into that in another video. But here it just feels like a missed opportunity. The Last Wish weapons are fantastic. Great job, Bungie. Fantastic. The reskins, not so much. And again, I want to say, I'm not against reskins fundamentally, okay? If you need to save dev time, but you can pump out more stuff, that's great. But it has to be stuff that I and the rest of the community wants to chase. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Just wanted to unpack my thoughts on reskins in general, and just talk about this season's weapons and the loot. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, how you're feeling about the guns. Maybe there are some roles that I'm missing, and you guys can let me know. Either way, I will catch you guys in the next video. This is Felwinter, signing out.